Hi, my name is Dawn Hopkins, and I'm a licensed Am I Hungry facilitator. I'm also an ERYT 500 Master Level Yoga Instructor and Yoga Teacher Trainer. It is my pleasure to be here today with you, helping you to integrate the concepts of mindful eating and yoga. Today we're going to look at workshop number 2, specifically how we can begin to trust our body's wisdom. Today will be a gentle practice. So some tools that you might want to have available include a rolled up blanket or a rolled up beach towel. You may also want to have 1 or 2 yoga blocks if you have those available. Otherwise, you might use large cans. So large canned tomatoes work great in place of the yoga blocks. And then finally, a yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap available, you can use a belt or a men's tie. So just some tools to have handy for our practice today. We're going to start in a simple seated position. So you're going to want to begin by taking your blanket and placing it underneath your seat. So we want it just on the very edge of our seat where our sits bones are. And you'll move the excess tissue out of the way so that you really feel a connection with the blanket and with the earth. You'll notice that your hips begin to kind of open up forward so that the thighs begin to soften toward the floor. In addition, you'll notice that you're better able to align your spine, ears over shoulders and shoulders over hips. Now, if this is a little too challenging for your hips, then you can always take 2 blankets or 2 rolled up towels and just elevate the hips a little bit higher, or you can extend one leg. So we're going to begin with the right foot into the left thigh. You can keep that leg extended, or you can bend the knee and bring that foot to the outside of your right shin. And then again, we want to align our spine, ears over shoulders and shoulders over hips. Take a moment to just roll those shoulders back and down a few times. You want to get the shoulders away from the ears. We carry lots of tension and stress in our shoulders. So just relaxing those back and down. And then begin to close your eyes. You'll want to make sure those ears are stacking over shoulders, shoulders over hips, as I mentioned previously. So notice if you're hinging forward slightly or rolling back, and see if you can find that middle place. And then begin to lift up through the crown of your head. Good. We're going to begin with a quote from Aristotle. He said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." And the fact of the matter is that mindful eating and the mindful eating journey, very much like the journey of our lives, are really about rediscovering our body and rediscovering ourselves in the process. Our body has innate wisdom, and it's communicating with us all of the time. The question is, are we listening to our bodies, and are we responding in a healthy way to the things that it's communicating with us? For example, our body communicates that we're hungry or thirsty or tired or stressed or in pain, that we need love or attention, that we're angry or frustrated. All of these things and more are being communicated by our body to us all the time. What do we do with it? We can't respond in a meaningful way until we're aware of the signals of our body. So today we're going to spend some time kind of coming home into our bodies and learning to discover what messages our body is sending us so that we can respond in an appropriate way. They say that knowledge is the beginning of wisdom as well. And so it's not just enough to know, we must do something with the information that our body gives to us. So as you sit here right now, we're going to begin with one of our tools for mindful eating, and we're going to do a mind-body scan. If your eyes aren't closed, begin by closing your eyes. Good, and we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths. Inhaling through the nose, filling in all the way into your lungs. Exhale out an open mouth. Release through the breath. Good. Take another big inhale. See if you can breathe in even more than the last. Exhale, let all the breath go, keeping the mouth open. Good. On this last one, breathing in even more deeply, like you're filling up a balloon. And exhaling everything out. Beautiful. Now we're just going to begin to slow and deepen our breathing. Breathing in slowly through the nose to a count of maybe 3 or 4, filling into our rib cage and all the way into the belly. As you exhale, allow the belly to soften and hollow out as you let all of the breath go. Again, breathing in slowly and deeply to a count of 3 or 4, a slight pause at the top of the inhale. Exhaling, letting all of that breath go, maybe to double the count of your inhale if that's available to you. Continue to find a nice, slow, steady breath, one that feels natural and easy, but is slow, deep, and rhythmic. Now, as you begin to breathe slowly and deeply, begin to notice any physical sensations in your body. Just taking a little bit of a scan throughout your body to identify any areas of tightness, where you need space, where you need some softening, where you maybe are holding tension. Just noticing. Now begin to notice any thoughts that are present. We want to explore our thoughts without judgment, with a position of the observer, just noticing what thoughts are there today. Dropping down now into our heart space, checking in to notice if there are any feelings that are present. Again, without judgment and with compassion and acceptance as we go through this state of exploration. We cannot change what we're not aware of. Mindfulness and yoga are all a practice of bringing awareness to the forefront of our being. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply. Beautiful. On your next exhale, slowly begin to release your right ear toward your right shoulder. Starting to open up the left side of the neck. Check in, allow that left shoulder to just begin to soften away from your ear. Maybe you even place that hand on the floor outside your head to continue to soften your shoulder down. If you want a little bit deeper stretch, take your right hand and gently just place it on the side of your head, continuing to encourage an opening into the left side of your neck. Now begin to shift your gaze. So now we have our gaze forward with our eyes closed. Maybe shift your gaze toward that right thigh and then take a hold of the back side of your skull, drawing your skull forward slightly, lengthening the neck, and then continuing to draw that chin in toward your chest. You're going to feel that in a little bit different place than the last stretch, more into your trapezius muscles on the left side. Good. Begin to release the grip, coming back to neutral, lengthening the spine. Maybe notice the difference in the way the two sides of your neck feel. Beautiful. On your next exhale, gently release the left shoulder toward your left ear. Again, allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears. Keep breathing slowly and deeply. I mentioned earlier that we hold a lot of tension and stress in the body, especially in our neck and shoulder area. So this helps us begin to counter the effects of stress on our body. Take your right hand out to the side if that feels okay, continuing to open into the right side of your neck. If you'd like a little deeper stretch, you can place your left hand gently on the side of your head, not forcing anything, but just gently encouraging a little deeper stretch here. Cultivating awareness of self is the key to change. Keep noticing what subtle sensations your body might be sending to you, maybe not so subtle sensations. And then begin to shift your gaze, taking your gaze toward your left thigh, and then take a hold more of the back side of your head with that left hand. Draw the skull forward slightly, lengthening the neck, then bring the chin in toward your chest. Breathe here. Beautiful. As we go through this practice today, I want you to focus on the sensations in the poses. I'm going to be offering adjustments. Give yourself permission to make adjustments if needed. Slowly release that hand, coming back to the center. Closing your eyes, and maybe you notice how much longer your neck feels right now. And just begin to release the ear toward the shoulder. We're going to round the head forward and over to the other side, just continuing to open up our neck. Taking the neck in circles, finding that range of motion, and then go in the opposite direction. So we're going to unwind those circles. Beautiful. Coming back to the center. And exhale, release. Nice job. On your next inhale, gently sweep, bring the arms all the way up overhead. Now check in. You don't want your shoulders to lift up by your ears. You want to keep those shoulders back and down. Nice. Float the right hand down to the mat if that's available. If you can't really reach the floor, if it feels far away, you can always place the block there for your hand. Okay, so pay attention, listening to your body. And then we're going to hinge over to that right side. Now there'll be a tendency for this left knee and hip to begin to lift up. So see if you can kind of relax that back down. Also, there's a tendency for us to lean forward. So draw that bicep back and try to imagine you're between two planes of glass as you begin to hinge only to the side, not forward or back. Breathing here. On your next inhale, gently press your way up, float the left hand down, bring the right bicep up, reaching the fingertips toward the ceiling. On your exhale, gently hinge now to the left side, checking in, staying grounded through the right side and softening the right knee and thigh toward the floor. And breathe here. Again, we want to imagine we're between two planes of glass, so we're not forward or back, we're right between the two, hinging over to the side. Nice, and then we're just going to windmill from side to side. So float the right hand down, gently hinge over to the right. Inhale as you come up, float that left hand down. Exhale, hinge over to the left. Inhale it up, float the right hand down, left hand comes up, and exhale, hinge to the right. Inhale up, float the left hand down, right hand up, exhale, hinge over to the left. Beautiful. On the inhale, we're going to come back to the center, and then we're going to switch out our feet. So if you had that left leg extended with the right foot inside, or you had the left foot in front, now we're going to switch. So extend the right leg out long, bring the left foot into the right thigh. Again, you can keep that leg extended if that feels better, or you can bend into the knee, bringing that foot to the outside of your shin. Readjust, making sure that you feel fully grounded. Your spine is nice and long and straight here. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Beautiful. We're going to take a hold of our strap here. We're going to take our strap fairly wide. So we're holding on with both hands, nice wide grip on that strap. You'll know whether or not you need to adjust as we move on. So just be listening to the signals that your body is giving you and make any adjustments that you need to make. Give yourself permission to do that throughout this practice. On the inhale, we're going to bring the arms up, keeping the shoulders down, keeping a nice grip on that strap. On the exhale, begin to bring the hands behind you, opening up into the chest. So we're going to start off just coming back only a little bit, just until you start to feel a nice stretch into your chest and into your biceps, into your arms. Good. On your next exhale, bring those hands down just a little bit closer to the floor behind you. Nice. Continue to breathe here. Nice. We're going to take it down just a little bit lower. Checking in. And then maybe you can bring those hands all the way down. Keep holding onto the strap. On your next inhale, we're going to start bringing those hands back up. So notice the first place where you feel a stretch, and we're going to stay there for a couple breaths. Keep relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe coming up a little bit higher. If you notice that you have to bend the elbows or you get stuck, just take the hands a little bit wider. Similarly, if you're not feeling a stretch at all, you might need to reposition your hands a little closer together. On the inhale, come up a little bit higher. Feel that big stretch into the shoulders and chest. Come up a little bit higher. Breathing slowly and deeply, and then come all the way back up. On your exhale, float the hands down in front of you. Now we're going to bring our hands a little bit closer together, so maybe about a fist distance closer on either side. You'll know again if you need to adjust, feel free to adjust. On the inhale, we're going to bring those hands up. On the exhale, we're going to come all the way back through toward the floor behind us. Wow, notice how much more space we have in those shoulders. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, bringing it forward. 2 more like this. Inhaling up, exhaling, coming through, inhaling up, and exhaling forward. Beautiful. Last time. Inhale up, and exhale back. One more time. Inhaling, bringing the hands up, and exhaling, coming forward and releasing the strap. I'm going to shake your hands out a little bit. You might notice like those hands feel a little tight after holding onto the strap. So just kind of shake those hands and wrists to release them. Beautiful. Good. We're going to bring our hands to the outsides of our knees or just below the knees. And then on the exhale, begin to bring your knees together, round your spine back, and curl up into a little ball, bringing your forehead toward those knees. On the inhale, open up the knees, lengthen the spine, begin to lift your chest in a little back bend and draw your skull back. Exhale, begin to bring the knees together. Tuck and round it out, bringing your forehead toward those knees, squeeze. Inhale. Opening up the knees, lifting the heart, drawing the skull back. Nice. Last time. Exhale, tuck and round. And inhale, arching the spine. Beautiful job. Come back to neutral in the middle here. And then we're going to extend our left leg. So if you've already been here once, we're coming back here again. If this is your first time here, bringing that foot to your inside of your thigh, adjusting, making sure that you feel fully grounded. So you might want to move the excess tissue out from underneath your seat to feel fully grounded. Nice long straight spine here. And then we're going to have the toes of our extended leg pointed upward toward the ceiling. So we flex into that foot. Begin to adjust yourself so that you're lining up your body with your leg. If that feels like maybe that leg's a little too far out, bring the leg a little closer toward the center so it will be easier to do that forward fold. We're going to take our strap and loop it around the ball of our foot. Sitting up nice and tall again, drawing the toes back, using the strap to help us, and then lengthen up through the spine, keeping the shoulders rolled back and down. Draw your navel in toward your spine, so tighten up that tummy a little bit. And on the exhale, begin to hinge forward. Notice I'm hinging with my heart leading, not my head. If I have my head going forward, I'm going to round my spine. We want to keep the spine long and straight. So chest leads, releasing the chest toward the thigh, then release the head and bring your top of your head toward your big toe. Now you might want to walk your hands down the strap a little closer to your foot, only if you can maintain the integrity of your spine. So you still have a nice long straight spine here, shoulders away from the ears. And then as the space becomes available, maybe you can begin to bow out over that leg a little bit deeper. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to fold out a little bit deeper. Keep checking in. You want your right thigh softening toward the floor here. Nice job. Exhaling. On the next inhale, we're going to lift up halfway and hold on to that strap with our left hand. So we're still holding on, keeping that spine nice and long and straight. Take your right hand to your right shoulder and we're going to just draw that shoulder back. Good. Reach your right hand high toward the ceiling, keeping the shoulder down. And then on your exhale, reach that hand up and over. Just finding a nice side stretch here. Again, you want to try to keep the bicep back so we're not folding forward. We're doing more of a lateral bend here. And keep softening your right knee and hip toward the floor. Beautiful job. On the next inhale, slowly come back up. We're going to release that strap. Just take it off to the side for the moment. And then sitting up nice and tall, take your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Reach your left hand high. And then begin to bring it behind you, pressing down into the floor. Now, if you can't reach the floor, again, this is a great place for a block. Placing that behind you to give you a little bit more length and a place to press down into with your left hand. Lengthen first and then begin to rotate your torso to the left. Drawing that left lung back, right lung forward, maintaining length in the spine. Now maybe your gaze goes toward the side wall or even toward the wall behind you. Beautiful. On your next inhale, sweep and bring that left hand high. Bring the right hand up to meet it. And then we're going to float the hands down to the floor, staying grounded into our sits bones. As it becomes available, maybe you can fold out over those hips, keeping the spine long and straight, shoulders away from the ears. Check in. You'll want the toes of that left foot to continue to point upward. And then release your head here. So this is another great place for a block if you want to place a block underneath the forearms. This might be better. You can also come up to where it's on its side a little bit higher. So just be where you need to be. Breathing, letting go. Sarah Connor said, "Know thyself, because what else is there to know?" Know thyself, because what else is there to know? As we begin to know ourselves, we can begin to reestablish trust and make those connections between our mind, our heart, our body, and our spirit. We can trust our body's wisdom. We can trust that our body knows what it needs, and we can respond accordingly. On the next inhale, slowly begin to walk your hands back. Just move that block off to the side if you were using a block. And then we're going to switch our legs out. So taking the right foot out, bringing the left foot to the inside of that right thigh, adjusting the width of the legs depending on what you feel that you need, and allowing this left thigh to soften toward the floor, keeping the toes of the right foot pointed up. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Then begin to square yourself off with your extended leg. Take your strap and loop it around the ball of that foot. Begin to lengthen through the spine, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. And then we're going to hinge over that leg, leading with the heart. Always the heart first. Keep the shoulders back and down, and then relax the head. Maybe you can walk your hands down that strap a little bit closer to your foot. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to fold a little bit more deeply. Breathe here. On your next inhale, slowly rising up, taking hold of that strap with the right hand. Take your left hand to your left shoulder, draw it back, and then reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling. Maintaining length in the spine, keeping the shoulder away from the ear, begin to reach up and over to the right. Make sure you're softening that left thigh and hip toward the mat, keeping that bicep back. On your next inhale, slowly coming back up. Releasing the strap, just moving it out of the way for the time being. Sitting up nice and tall into the spine. We're going to take our left hand to the outside of our right thigh. Reach the right bicep by the ear. Find length first, then begin to reach that hand behind you and float it all the way down to the floor. Again, you can always use a block here if you need to. Press into the floor, lengthening the spine, and then begin to rotate your torso to the right. Bring that right shoulder and lung back as you bring the left lung forward. And then your gaze will slide either to the right or even toward that back wall. And breathe. Let go. Releasing anything that no longer serves you. Beautiful. On your inhale, coming back to center, maintaining a long spine, keeping the toes of that right foot pointed upward. Again, you can use a block here if that feels good to you. We're going to bring our hands down to the floor, keeping a long straight spine, and then begin to walk ourselves forward, hinging over our legs toward the floor. And then relax the head. Again, keeping a long straight spine. If it feels better for you to use that block for support for your arms, feel free to do that. You are taking exquisite care of yourself right now. Giving your body what it needs, movement and breath, stretching and strengthening. But know, is your body telling you to press in or to pull back? Are you being told to go deeper or pull out a little bit? Keep checking in with your body in this way. Nice. Slowly begin to walk your hands back, coming up. Good. And then we're going to just move the block to the front of our mat and find our way onto our knees. But maybe before we do that, let's take those legs out in front of us and kind of shake them out a little bit. You might even tap them out gently, remembering to be gentle and compassionate with yourself and your body. Beautiful. Slowly begin to bend into your legs. And then we're just going to come onto all fours. So taking your time, move your blanket out of the way, or if you have knee issues and you want some additional support for your knees, flatten out your blanket and then you can place that underneath your knees for support. Beautiful. Bring your knees right underneath your hips, about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to go ahead and fan our fingers nice and wide. So as you do that, spiral them out to the sides slightly so you can create J's with your index fingers and thumbs. Good. Place those hands directly underneath your shoulders. And then release the tops of the feet to the floor, or you can keep the toes tucked if that feels better for you. Good. We're going to find a nice long straight spine. So if you have a natural sway in your back like I do, gently curl that tail under slightly, draw your navel into your spine, create a little engagement there. But you want to do that without dumping into the shoulders or rounding the shoulders. Press into those hands and really broaden into your back here. On the inhale, slide the tailbone up, press the navel down, slide your heart forward and lift through the crown of your head. On the exhale, curl that tail under, draw your navel into your spine, round your back and bring your chin toward your chest. So the movement begins at the tail, lift that tail, press the navel down, slide the heart forward, and ends at the crown, lifting the crown upward. Same thing as we round out into cat, curl that tail under, draw your navel in, round your back and bring your chin to your chest. Moving with your breath, really linking the breath and the movement here. Nice job. We're going to inhale coming into a neutral position into tabletop. Press into your left hand and we're going to sweep that right hand high. Stretch and reach the fingertips all the way up toward the ceiling, spreading the fingers wide. On the exhale, thread the needle. So bring that hand behind your left arm, slide it as far over to the left as you can, and then come onto your right ear and shoulder. Now you can keep your left arm bent like on a 90-degree angle, or you can walk that hand forward, finding a nice stretch into your shoulder. You might even walk the hand over to the right corner of your mat. Close your eyes and just breathe here. Releasing and letting go, listening to your body. Always giving yourself permission to adjust the pose or skip it entirely if needed. How does your breath feel? What is your body saying to you right now? If you want to go deeper, you can take that left hand high up toward the ceiling. Or maybe you wrap it around the small of the back and try to find the top of your right thigh. Wherever you are is perfect. Just go with what feels intuitively right in your body. Trust your body wisdom. Your body knows what it needs. It's our job to listen. On the inhale, stretch and reach that left hand high. Float it back down to the floor, placing it on the mat. Press into the left hand, and we're going to sweep the right hand all the way up. Nice job. Exhale, floating that right hand down. And then ground down into your right hand. On the inhale, take the left hand high, reach it all the way up toward the ceiling, spreading those fingers nice and wide. On your exhale, bring it all the way through, behind the right arm, to the right, coming all the way down onto your left shoulder and ear. You can keep that right elbow bent. You can walk your right hand forward or over toward the left front corner of your mat. Breathe here. Good. If it feels okay to go deeper, take that right hand all the way up toward the ceiling and maybe wrap it around the small of your back trying to find the top of your left thigh. Only if that feels okay for your body. On the next inhale, take your right hand all the way up toward the ceiling, wherever you are. Float the hand down to the floor, pressing into the right hand. Stretch and reach. Take that left hand high. Maybe there's a little more space now. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. Good. Take your knees wide. Bring the toes together. And we're going to touch our tail down to our heels if that's available. Now, if this is too much for your knees or for your hips, you can do one of two things. You can take your blocks, create a little base for your seat, stacking them, so keeping those hips nice and lifted, and then walking your hands forward. Another thing you could do is you can take a second blanket or the blanket that's underneath your knees and roll it, placing it behind your knees to give your knees a little bit of cushion. So wherever you are is perfect. Maybe you don't want the blocks. Maybe you just want to sink into the shape, melting your heart. Noticing your breath, allowing your breath to be slow, rhythmic, and deep. Good. Slowly begin to rise up. Bring the knees so that they're underneath your hips, about hip-width distance apart. Walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders. Shoulder width distance apart, again, creating J's with those index fingers and thumbs. Nice. On the inhale, we're going to take that right foot straight back, pressing into the ball of the foot here. Lift the heel high so that the toes point down and that heel is an extension of your right hip. If it feels okay, add the left bicep by the left ear, stretching and reaching forward in opposite directions. Now draw your navel into your spine, protecting our low back but improving the strength of our core. Beautiful. On the exhale, if it's okay, take the left hand out to the side. If you want to go a little bit further and challenge yourself a little more, only if your body says it's okay, begin to bring your right foot out to the right. See if you can do that all the while balancing in this shape. Beautiful. On your exhale, going front to back. Stretch and reach in opposite directions here. Float your left hand down to the floor, and then we're going to bring our right foot all the way around to the left, coming on the edge of the foot. Draw your left shoulder toward that left hip. Find a nice deep stretch here. Your gaze goes toward your foot, and breathe. On the inhale, unravel your spine, extend the leg, and then float that knee down right underneath your right hip. Good. Now we're going to take the left foot, toes point down, lift the heel so it's an extension of the spine, toes point toward the floor. Nice long straight spine. If you need to for balance, remember you can always tuck the toes of your right foot under. Maybe you can reach the right bicep by the ear, stretching and reaching in opposite directions here. Breathe. On your exhale, if it feels okay, bring that right arm out to the side like a wing. Maybe moving your left foot out to the left. Breathe here. On your next exhale, front to back. Float your right hand down, and then bring that foot all the way around to the right, coming on the edge of the foot. Draw your right shoulder toward that right hip. Nice deep stretch here. Nice. slowly begin to unravel, bringing that foot straight back, floating that knee back down. And then a couple cat-cows here. Inhaling, lifting the tail, pressing the navel down, slide the heart forward, lift the crown. On the exhale, curl the tail, draw the navel in, round the back, and bring your chin to your chest. Inhale. Tail lifts, belly drops, heart presses forward, crown lifts. Exhale. Curl that tail under, lift your belly, draw your navel to your spine, and round your back. Beautiful job. Good, we're gonna move on now. So, one thing you might want to consider is taking blocks underneath the hands. So, if you have hand and wrist issues, or you just get tightness or pain in your hands and wrists, it always feels good to have blocks underneath the hands. Another thing you could use is little hand weights. As long as they're not round, you can hold on to the handle of those hand weights and have the weights on the ground to just take the weight out of the wrist. Or you can just place the hands down on the floor, about shoulder width distance apart or a little wider, creating J's with your index fingers and thumbs. Tuck the toes under and begin to bring your chest back toward your thighs. Ears come to the insides of your biceps. So taking a breath or two here, begin to engage your core, and then we're just going to lift those knees a little bit up off of the earth into bear pose. Keep drawing your shoulders away from your ears, keep lifting your tail up and back, and then maybe you can begin to pedal this out. Releasing the right heel and then the left, alternating bending legs. Your feet are about hip width distance apart. They're either parallel or slightly pigeon-toed, to where the toes are a little closer together than the heels. Beautiful job. This is down dog. If this does not feel good to you, you can always release back down onto all fours or into that child's pose. Take a bend in your knees, keep pressing your chest back, lifting the tail up, and then slowly walk your feet forward to your hands. So it might be several steps coming up, and then your feet will be about hip width distance apart. You want to have the feet parallel to one another, lifting the toes and pressing down into the four corners of your feet, underneath the big toe, underneath the pinky toe, and the outer edges of your heels. Then release those knees down. Take a little bend or a big bend in those knees. Release your crown down toward the floor. Let your tail begin to slide up. Roll the shoulders away from the ears here. And then on your inhale, take your hands to your shins. Let's lift up halfway for length. Good. Continue to breathe. Shoulders away from those ears. Long, straight spine. Never locking the knees. So if you straighten the knees, make sure you don't lock the knees. We still have a little soft bend in those knees. Exhale. Fold out into forward fold. Inhaling, lifting halfway for length. Shoulders back and down, crown moves forward, tail slides back. Exhale, fold. Good, one more time. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Take a bend in those knees. Sweep the arms wide, and you're going to come all the way up to standing, pressing into those feet. Lengthen all the way through those fingertips toward the ceiling. Maybe your gaze goes high as well. On your exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. So I want you to really feel all four corners pushing into the floor again. Lifting those toes, wiggling the toes if needed. Good, rising all the way up to standing, lengthening here. On your exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes. Grounding down again into all four corners of your feet, engaging your legs. Now soften your tailbone down as you draw your navel in and up. So it's a little tilt forward of the hips, but in a lifting of your abdomen upward, engaging the muscles of our core. Roll the shoulders back and down, lift your heart into your hands, pressing your hands into your heart, and then lift into the top of your head, as if you had a string tethered to the top of your head, lifting you up toward the ceiling. Good. Breathe here, checking in. How do you feel right now? Have you gotten disconnected from your breathing? If so, return to a slow, deep, rhythmic breath. Beautiful job. We're going to start to shift our weight into our left foot. Now, we're going to pick up the right knee. You might bring the arms out to the sides for balance. Even all the way up to the sides like wings, palms facing forward. Engaging your core, draw your navel toward your spine, and then slide that foot back. See if you can find warrior three. Now you might just have the toes pointed down and just have the foot a little lifted up off the ground. Or you might be able to hinge a little bit more deeply to where you bring that heel up even higher. You might take your blocks and place them underneath your face and place your hands onto those blocks and keep the leg lifted. Your choice. I just gave you 3 different levels, so listen to what your body is saying. What do you need? Beautiful. On the exhale, return the foot back down so your feet are lining up about hip-width distance apart, and fold out. Inhale, sweep high, coming back up to standing. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Good. Balance poses are really important. They help to teach us mental focus. They help to teach us how to remain focused so that we can draw our attention inward. They help with strength and stamina, and obviously balance. Begin to shift your weight now into your right foot, and then slowly begin to lift your left knee upward, flexing the foot. Again, you can bring the arms out, you can keep them at heart center, whatever feels good to you. Begin to slide that foot back, hinging forward at the hips. So maybe the foot just comes behind with the toes pointed down. Maybe you begin to lift that foot even higher. Maybe for balance, you take your blocks, bring your hands to the blocks and extend that leg back. Just listen. Wherever you are is perfect. Nice. On the exhale, bring that foot back down, underneath your left hip, and then fold out. On the inhale, sweep, come all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Nice. Come back to your natural breathing. Listening to your body. Finding a nice straight spine here. Beautiful. Begin to shift your weight once again into your left foot. We're going to pick the right knee up. Take your hands to your hips, and then we're going to slide that foot all the way back, coming on the ball of the foot, and then toe heel your left foot to the left just a little bit so that your knee stacks over your heel or over your foot, but the knee never goes in front of the toes. Take a bend in your back knee. It's going to give you a little bit more stability and balance here, but it also helps to bring the hip forward and open up the front side of this right hip. Bring the arms up, coming into crescent lunge. Shoulders stay back and down. In this lunge position, gaze is forward. Draw your navel into your spine. Focus on your breathing. Good. Know that you can always release your right knee down to the ground. So if that's something you feel you need to do, bring your hands to your hips, and then we're going to lower down onto that knee. You might need to adjust your front foot a little bit, and you can bring your hands to your hips here, or again, reach your arms up. Wherever you are is perfect. Celebrate your body where it is. On the exhale, bow forward, bringing the arms out like wings. So again, you can be in this low, humble lunge position, or you can tuck the back toes and lift the back leg and be in this higher variation. Nice job. We're going to place our right hand to the inside of our left foot. You might want to place a block there, keeping the left arm out to the side. Slowly begin to take that left hand high, reaching it up. You want to make sure you're keeping your left hip in, so it's not kicking out to the side, drawing it in and back, and keeping that left knee stacked over your left foot. On the exhale, slowly float that hand back down. If your right knee is still on the floor, begin to lift that left knee up so that we can step that foot forward. Exhale, bow out. Take a bend in those knees, and an inhale takes you all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Reconnect with your breathing here, slow, rhythmic, and deep. Shaking off whatever you did or didn't do. Being in this present moment, and just be aware of what your body is telling you. Beautiful. Begin to bring your hands to your hips, and now we're going to pick up the left knee. Engage the core, draw that navel into your spine. On the exhale, we're going to step that foot way back, coming on the ball of the foot. Toe heel your right foot to the right, just to make room for those hips, so you can bounce better. Keep a bend in that back leg for the moment. Stacking ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, reach the arms up. Shoulders stay back and down. Draw that navel into your spine, lengthen here. Again, you can always release that left knee down to the ground. Listen to your body. Wherever you are, begin to fold forward. Bring the arms out like wings. Again, you can have your left leg lifted, or that knee can be down on the ground. Breathe here. We're challenging ourselves to change, but we want to do so intentionally and safely. If our body is saying back off, back off. If the body's saying go further, push yourself just a little more. Always in a way that's safe and listening. Take your left hand, place it to the inside of the foot. If you want to block, that's great. And then we're going to reach our right hand high. Draw this right hip in and back, check in, and breathe here. On the next exhale, float that hand down. You might want blocks on opposite sides of your foot. If your left knee was down on the ground, lift the knee up, lift the hip up, and then we're going to step our back foot forward. Fold it out. Inhale, lift halfway for length. Exhale, release. Nice job. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Take your hands to the blocks or onto the floor, and then we're going to bend into our knees. Coming down as low as you are able. Good. So this might be it for you. This might be perfect. If you want to, you can begin to balance here, bringing your hands to your heart center, lifting up onto the balls of the feet here, lifting your heart into your hands. Now, if you want to go a little further with it, you can separate the knees and bring your hands down to the floor here, pressing your elbows into those thighs and the thighs into your elbows. And then maybe it's available for you to bring the hands together at heart center and balance here. Beautiful. This is Yogi squat or Malasana. Breathe here. Good. Slowly begin to release, bringing the knees toward one another. And then you're just going to lower down onto your seat. You can move the blanket out of the way. And then just make your way down onto your backs. So if you would like to have some support for your head, you can also take your blanket and place it behind your head. We're going to draw those knees into the chest, giving them a nice squeeze. Breathing out through an open mouth, releasing, letting go. One more big one like that. It's a nice cleansing breath. Nice job. Keeping your right knee in, we're going to send our left foot to the mat or extend the left leg out long. Just holding on to that knee, allowing the shoulders to relax toward the floor. Good, just breathe here. Holding on to your right knee with your left hand. Take your right arm out to the side, palm facing up. Then just begin to gently guide the knee across the body to the left. Your right hip will lift up, but you want to keep your right shoulder grounded. Maybe you take your gaze over that right hand. Breathe here. This is called a final spinal twist. Twists are great. They help to realign your spine. They help to detoxify the body. They help to nourish the spine. They also help us to give us a different perspective. Imagine that you're wringing out a dirty washcloth. Slowly begin to unravel your twist. Bring both knees in for a moment. Give them a nice hug. Then holding on to the left knee, send the right leg out long. Gently draw that knee in. Take the left arm out to the side with your palm facing up, shoulder down. Guide that knee across the body to the right, allowing the left hip to lift, but keeping your left shoulder grounded. And then maybe you can take your gaze over your left hand if that feels good for your neck. Breathe here. Good. Slowly begin to unravel, taking both knees into your chest, coming into a nice, big, full body stretch. Lengthen your entire body. Toes go toward the front of the room, hands lift up overhead, shoulders stay down on the mat. Take a nice big inhale. And on your exhale, float your hands alongside your hips with the palms up. Let your feet roll open. Kind of slide your shoulder blades together on the back side of your heart. And then just close your eyes, remaining here for a few more moments in a final rest position. As you lay in this position, do another quick mind-body scan. Check in. How does your body feel now? Noting any places on the body that are speaking to you. What are they saying? Notice your thoughts without judgment. Notice your feelings with compassion and acceptance. Notice your breath, slow, deep, and rhythmic. Tina Clifford said, "When you know your body, you are empowered. When you accept yourself, you are invincible." Slowly now begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly awakening your body. Begin to move your head from right to left and back and forth. Awakening your mind. Gently roll onto whichever side feels intuitively right, remaining there for a moment in a fetal position with your knees toward your chest. Taking your time and supporting yourself, begin to bring yourself up into a seated position, or stay where you are. When you've arrived at a seated position, bring your hands to heart center or wherever feels right to you. Bow your head to your heart, lift your heart to your head, and breathe. Taking these final moments to allow your practice to integrate fully. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. In the coming week, checking in periodically. What is your body telling you it needs? Can you respond in a healthy way? Giving your body what it's asking for. Knowing the difference between hunger and thirst, fatigue and pain, stress and worry, anger and sadness, and everything else that our body communicates. And beginning to reestablish trust in your own body's wisdom. The wise one in me sees and honors the wise one in you. Namaste.